We know that we have been through several leadership contests over the years. Each one of them creates a little turbulence, a little bumps in the road that we have to navigate. And so we have reached out, I have reached out to all of my comrades, especially those who may have didn't support me or whatever, and said this don't matter, that's done, the decision is made, a PNP we are saying now, and I'm the leader, support the thing and we win the election. And I must say to all of my colleagues how grateful I am that they have reciprocated, they have approached it in the same way, and we are all good and we're pulling together. And the effect of it is very powerful because we have so much talent to draw on, people with different skills, different types of brilliance, and that is how we're making a difference. And the other thing we've been doing is thinking about, through dialogue, consultation, what is it that we need to do for the people of Jamaica when we form government? How do we make sure that the next PNP government will be transformational, will take Jamaica to a better place? How can we champion change? And that is why we've been focusing on things that can make a real difference in the lives of the people, especially those who need the help of an activist government to make their lives better. Because that is how Jamaica will be a stronger country. And when we do the right things and people are more comfortable, they have a more opportunity, they're able to pursue their dreams, it is going to mean we're going to have a more productive economy, we're going to have better trained people, we'll be able to attract investment in jobs and in industries that create jobs that are better paying, and we will become a wealthier country. And that is a cycle, that is a circle, that is a virtuous circle of progress that we want to ensure we bring to Jamaica when we're next in government. So, you've heard some of the things that we plan to do in relation to education. The importance of ensuring that every child who needs it gets the support of at least one nutritious meal a day at school. And that's just the start, because we know as the economy improves and we have more resources, we will expand that to include breakfast as well.
People power!
You've heard about the first in family concept. What we're saying is any youth who can make it to university and matriculates and is accepted, if they are the first person in their household to have ever gone to university, we will pay for their tuition for the entire time in university. We will give them a scholarship. And this is important because the truth of the matter is, those who already have a child or a parent who has gone to university typically are in a much better position financially to manage to send more. But those who have never had that opportunity, we are going to give them that opportunity because we know that education is the antidote to poverty.
Equal access. People power!
We have a number of other things we've discussed about the Student Loan Bureau and all that. I'm not going to get into, we have so much ideas and so much things we plan to do. But I want to talk a little bit more about housing. There is a tremendous shortage of affordable housing in Jamaica. We have had a construction boom under the labor rights, largely driven by two things. Interest rates were low because inflation, when we left office in 2016, inflation was extremely low. Interest rates could come down, and as a result, developers could borrow money to build developments. And secondly, the JLP reduced the transfer tax and stamp duty on transfers of real estate, and that also fueled a construction boom. But the houses that were built weren't built for people, ordinary Jamaican people. They're out of range of ordinary Jamaican people. You know, these are houses for people who have money. And a lot of them are just buying these houses as an investment, not because they don't know where to live. And so we have never approached housing policy in that way. We have always approached housing policy as an empowerment to give our people shelter who don't otherwise have it. So that is why we built out Portmore. That's why we did Operation Pride and give informal settlements the opportunity to have proper infrastructure, get titles to their land, and they can build their castles. And there's several successful schemes that have been created because of the work of the PNP. And we're going to finish the ones that we left unfinished. We're going to finish them. So we have a plan to build 50,000 affordable houses in our first term of office. It's a very challenging target, but sometimes you have to set a challenging target for yourself in order to reach a certain height, right? And we have a plan as to how we're going to do that. We're identifying the lands that we're going to make available to the NHT to do that, and we're going to achieve it with the benefit when we sell the houses, we're not going to include in the price the value of the land. So that when you buy a house from under our watch through the NHT under this program, the price will be less because we're not going to charge them, the buyers, for the land component of the price. That's a very important difference. And we also want to facilitate young people. A lot of young people are struggling to buy their first home because they can't afford a deposit. And we have said, first of all, we're going to stop taking $11.4 billion every year out of the NHT, which this government has done for the last 9 years, even though we're out of any IMF program. We don't have those heavy fiscal targets like we had when we had to implement that. But we were doing it for 4 years. They have now extended it for another 8 years since they've been in power. And we're saying no, that is depleting the resources of the NHT. And that means the NHT can't pursue its mandate. The mandate that was established for it from its start when Michael Mann built that institution, which is to provide housing for people, the workers in this country and others who need it. So we're going to stop taking that $11.4 billion. It means the NHT will have more resources. And we're taking $1 billion to establish a fund. We call it the Young People's Deposit Grant Fund. A young person up to 35 years old, as long as they are a contributor to the NHT for just 2 years or more, will get a grant of $500,000 from the NHT towards their first house. And that will enable them to get onto the housing ladder. We also have two very innovative ideas, which we call rent to own. And then the innovation is in the concept because right now we have people renting a house.
For years.
For a long time. Years, thank you. And they can't afford to pay down on a house because their income is at a level where after them pay them rent and then pay them food and little light bill and whatever, them don't have the money to save anything. And what we're saying is, all right, with these affordable houses now, if you can afford to pay the rent, which is equal to what the mortgage payment would be, you can go in as a tenant at the NHT, and a portion of your rent will go into an account in the NHT for your deposit. And when that build up to the level of the deposit, boom, it switches into the mortgage and you become an owner, and then from then on you're paying more. And there's another aspect to it too with this rent to own. You have a lot of people who are hustle to survive. All kind of hustling. Some are do little selling, some in the music business, some are do round robin, some are do other forms of entertainment, whatever it is. Them don't have formal employment. They can't produce a pay slip to show what they're earning, and they can't get a mortgage because they can't show their income. And we are saying for those people now, we will allow them to go into possession for a period of time as a tenant, and once they are paying their rent, which is equal to the mortgage amount, it would be, once they show that they can make those payments for a reasonable period, we're thinking of even 6 months, that would mean they no longer have to prove income. They'd have already proved that their capacity to pay, and they can then draw down their mortgage and become a owner. See, these are just some of the things that we've been thinking about. We've costed them out. We know how we're going to pay for them, and we're going to make a big difference to Jamaica when it comes. And they said when we roll out that housing program, affordable housing, it is going to help to drive economic growth, which is going to help to pay for the same things that we're doing. So the thing is about creating a virtuous circle of growth, revenue generation, investment in the people, and that will mean greater wealth for all Jamaicans. In the farming sector, well, the GenSec is anchoring agriculture and rural development for us. We are going to establish, right now, we're importing a lot of food into this country. It went up by, I think, 70% from about, where was it? $834 million to $1.4 billion. It was 834 when we left office, 834 million US of imports. It's a 1.4 billion. That is why when they brought the law to Parliament on Tuesday to remove the GCT on fresh food and vegetables and meats to come into this country, which is from other markets where those things are subsidized, which would have a negative impact on our producers here. We said, what are you doing? How you can, just bring this come and don't explain how is this going to affect our farmers? How is this going to affect our economy? And they had to wheel and come again. So we say, well, we will take a portion of the tax that is paid at the wharf on these imported foods. And we're going to establish a fund, about $2.5 billion in the first year. And that is going to support farming, support production. Right now, our small farmers need a break. Many of them can't, they don't have proper irrigation, they have to buy water to water them field. They don't have access to credit because they don't have the necessaries to go and get a loan, even from the PC banks, because the requirements of those have been tightened up on them. So they're not producing at the level that they could. And then we have a lot of what we call post-harvest losses because there's no storage for things. And if you have a strong production, you have excess and take a while to let it off, a lot of it will spoil because, I mean, it's what level of it? 30%? 30% of Jamaica's agricultural produce is spoiled. So we have to deal with that by having proper storage facilities to ensure that the people can sell not just 70% of what they produce, but as close to 100% of what they produce. And can you imagine what that is going to do for rural incomes in this country in terms of the standard of living, the quality of life that our farming communities will be able to enjoy. So people, we are approaching this in the spirit of Michael Joshua Manley. And I am dedicating the next term of the PNP to his memory. Because he brought a consciousness of how to uplift our people and liberate them from colonialism, from poverty, from underdevelopment, from a lack of self-esteem, all of these things. That's why we're going to be teaching the philosophy of Marcus Mosiah Garvey in schools. Because our children have to love themselves and love each other and respect themselves and their history and know their potential greatness, which is in each of them. Because we want to have a Jamaica where we don't just shine in some areas, but we shine in all areas. Because we are a great people and we can do it. Comrades, that is why this election matters. That is why I'm saying to you, go out there in a very serious and dedicated way. Do the work that we have to do. Complete your PNP list. Know who our voters are. So that on election day, we'll go for them. We'll put the ballots in the box. And this lady, Patricia Duncan Sutherland, becomes your next MP. One love, comrades. Power to the people. Power.
When you started talking about the housing policy of our noble party, he said me get goosebumps. Look at this man. This man.
Pleasant, nice to meet you. So, I'm going to tell you why. And I'm very impressed. I'm going to tell you why. So, you hit 3 nails on the head that I'm struggling with every night. You see the house where you say, the house them where they want to build now for the richer people, them, you have to buy to invest. That they put my brain every day, and that's the reality. Because I can afford to buy the house, but I can't afford the mortgage. So we have to buy it as investment properties. You get to me, I say, so you touch a lot of points, and I've been asking Ms. Duncan to meet you in person, and I'm very impressed. I'm a dying for you around the country the right way.
Eastern St. Andrew. I know you're ready, comrade. I know you're ready, and I know you're ready too. Yes, we're ready. We're ready, we're ready, we're ready. But comrades, as we prepare for that day, when we will have another PNP MP. You have heard comments from our Genset, our MP candidate, and our party leader. And I want to hear from you. Comments, questions, let me hear from you. You can tell us who you're addressing the question to. I'm going to take 4 questions at a time, and then we will answer, and then we take another set of 4. So, comrade, before we take the questions, I want to apologize for Comrade Senator Lambert Brown, who is a child of Standpipe and should have been here, but he's caught in an engagement. And he sends his apologies. So comrades, I'm just gonna ask you to give us a minute as we listen to what Comrade Brown has to say.
Dear comrades of Eastern St. Andrew, comrades from the Standpipe era, this is Lambert Brown, a son of the side. I was scheduled to come to the meeting this afternoon to bring greetings and to endorse my friend, Comrade Patricia Duncan Sutherland. Unfortunately, I am at a meeting with the trade unions and the Minister of Finance at Euro Circle negotiating for increased increment and benefit for the workers in the public sector, be they teachers, nurses, doctors, watchmen, civil servants. So I apologize for not being there with you, or my comrades, my friends, some of you who have played football and cricket with, run up and down in the lanes of Standpipe. I urge you to support Pat, Comrade Pat. Give her full support as we work to make Mark Golding the next Prime Minister of Jamaica. And one day I will come and walk amongst you, because the PNP need to win this, so Standpipe and our joining communities can be better off, can be improved. I love you, my comrades. Onward to victory. We say PNP all the time.